Hi everybody, I'm happy to be a guest designer for Tupelo Designs LLC, and I will link to their store down below. They have hundreds of craft items and shipping is free for USA orders, and international orders there is a deep discount. So be sure to check them out. Today I'm going to be making a pocket letter, and I'm going to use the new Lawn Fawn stamp set, Yay Kites. And I'm going to be coloring up these animals, the squirrel, the bird, and the bunny, and some of the clouds. And I'm going to be using colored pencils. And I'm going to use Faber-Castell colored pencils. And for the squirrel, I'll be using 2 or 3 browns. For the bunny, gray. For the clouds, I need some blue. And for the bird, I need a couple of different shades of red. So now I'm going to stamp these out using Memento black ink. I'm going to start with the bunny. And I want the bunny to be white, so I'm just going to take my gray Faber-Castell colored pencil, and I'm just going to do some shading around the outline of the bunny. And this is non-directional shading, so I'm not thinking about a light source. I just want to add some dimension to the bunny, so just to make them pop out a little bit. And so I'm just very lightly coloring around the bunny. Now if the lines seem too harsh, you can take the white colored pencil and kind of blend it out a little bit. Now the bird, I want red. So I'm going to start with the darker, this is kind of a pinky red. And I want him red so he pops out. I didn't want to make him blue because the sky is going to have a blue hue to it. Again, this is non-directional shading. On the beak, I'm going to make yellow. And I think I want to color this bird too, so I want to make this bird orange. So I'm picking 2 shades of orange, a darker and a lighter. Now for the squirrel, I'm probably going to use 3 different browns, so I want to make the shading outlined in brown. And then I'm going to take the second to the darkest and go around the edge of him again. And now the lightest brown. And now for the clouds, I just want these to be outlined in some light blue. I'm not going to color the whole cloud blue. And then I'll take the white and I'll soften up the edges. And I'm just going in a circular motion. All right, and I'll do this to all the clouds. And then I will cut these out on my Scan and Cut 2, and then I'll be back. And for this pocket letter, since I'm creating a scene, I chose this kind of cloud looking paper, and I don't want to cut this into the cards that go into the pocket letter. I want to keep it one piece, and this piece is 7.5 by 10.5. And then I have drawn with pencil, and you can do this lighter. I just did this darker so you'd be able to see. You want to draw a line 2.5 inches and 2.5 inches all the way down. and then 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches all the way across. And I'm going to build my scene on this, and then I'm going to cut it apart. But I want to have these guidelines because I don't want to put an animal right here and then cut off its head. So I need to have these guidelines for the scene before I cut it apart. I'm going to stamp 3 kites. 1 big one and 2 little ones, and I have some pattern paper scraps and I'm going to stamp those on. And the big kites, I am going to put one on this yellow and one on this colorful dot. Now I'm going to fussy cut these out, and because these are just straight lines, I'm not going to use my scan and cut. I am just going to use scissors to fussy cut these 3 kites out. The kites are all cut out. And here I have my pocket letter all laid out, and I have, if you can see, I have all the items where I want them. And the kite strings I am going to stamp right onto this sheet of paper before I cut it up. And then I decided I needed a sun. So this is the sun from a Lawn Fawn set. It's an older set called Spring Showers. And this was one of the first sets of dies I ever got from Tupelo. So I just thought I'd use this sun. And I did ink up the edges of the sun with just a little bit of mustard seed distress ink. But I'm going to make little pencil marks so I know where to stamp this hello string, and then this kite string down here, this kite string, and then this kite string with the heart on it. So I'm going to make little pencil marks on each end, a pencil mark here and a pencil mark here. And then a pencil mark here and a pencil mark here. And then the same for this one, pencil mark here and pencil mark there. And then I'm going to stamp out those strings. I'm going to use my stamping tool to stamp the kite strings on because they need to be perfect, and I probably won't get that with just an acrylic block. And even though this paper is bigger than my stamping tool, it will still work. So I got a piece of washi here. I'm going to tape down the paper with washi. And I have my pencil marks where I wanted the stamp. So this is for this stamp up here. So I'm just going to line those up as best as I can. And then I'm going to pick up the stamp. And now I'm going to ink it up. And there we go. I cut some grassy hills out. This one is just a scrap piece of pattern paper in green. And this one is a scrap piece of glitter paper. And I cut these 8 inches long. That's longer than my paper. But that's okay. I want a little wiggle room in case I need to slide it over. And the same with this one. These are 2 inches by 8 inches. And I used the My Favorite Things Dynamics Grassy Hills. Yep, Grassy Hills. And I used this one and this one. And of course these are 8 inches long, so I cut as long as it would go, and then I slid it over a little bit, then cut the rest. And I'll glue those onto my paper. And I did decide for the grass, I had this these 2 pieces, but I decided to add a 3rd piece. So I did cut from that same My Favorite Things die. I did use that third dye, and so I'm going to have 3 layers, and I inked up the edges with Distress ink. I used Lucky Clover and Mowed Lawn. Mowed Lawn and Lucky Clover. And now I'm going to stamp the kite tails, and I have made, once again, little pencil marks so I know where to stamp the kite tails. And when I was stamping, I did get some ink up here. I got that on when I was using my stamping tool. I hadn't cleaned off the lid before I used it again. So I'm just going to cover that up strategically with the sun and a cloud so I don't waste this whole paper. And now I'm going to glue the grass on. And again, I sure like making pencil marks. I made pencil marks where this grass is going to go. And I'm using my favorite Tombow dot runner. And then I'll trim off the extra when I go to cut this. And now I'm going to glue this on, and like I said, I accidentally got some ink. So I'm going to make sure I place the sun just so, and then this cloud will cover up the rest of the inky spots. And that'll work really well. I just didn't want it to get ruined. And then my strategically placed cloud to cover up the inky spot. Everything is glued on, and now I'm going to go cut it out. Okay, here it is in the sleeve, the pocket sleeve. And I did add some more blingy flowers down here. And then I colored the tails of the kite with gel pen, with glitter gel pen. And now I'm going to put some decorative washi tape on the edge. Then I'll take a scissors and trim off the ends. But there's my pocket letter. This is my pocket letter using the Long Fawn Yay Kite stamp set. And it turned out really cute. And I'll put goodies in the back. But this turned out really cute. And I like these type of pocket letters because I'm not a big fan of making pocket letters if I have to make all the squares or all the rectangles individually and decorate them. I just rather make, it's like a big card and then you cut it up. It's super easy that way. But thanks for watching, and don't forget to shop at Tupelo.